This video is a deep dive into hip and T-spine mobility. We'll start with a knee hug. So you're going to pull up one knee, hug it in nice and tight, pushing the floor away with your standing leg and squeezing the glute on that side. Then swinging the leg way back and bringing the hands down to the inside of that foot onto the floor. Shifting the hips up, getting a nice stretch through the hamstring. Then we're going to shift the hips back down and turn the inside arm up to the ceiling. Bring it back down to the floor, shifting the hips up for the hamstring, and come up to stand. And we're going to switch sides. So you're going into a nice, tight knee hug, pushing the floor away with a standing leg. Then stepping way back into a super low lunge, bringing the hands to the inside of that foot. Then shifting the hips up toward the ceiling. Getting a hamstring stretch. You want to do about a 5-second count for each position. And then you're going to bring the hips back down, turning that inside arm up to the ceiling for your T-spine. Bring it back down to the floor, extend the hips up for the hamstring, and come up to stand. We're going to do this one more time with a 5-second hold in each position, starting with a knee hug. And then we'll do it 2 more times, just flowing right through the movement. We'll do this flow one more time, but without the big hold. So you're just going to move from one spot to the next, taking your time, making sure to breathe, getting every movement to its end range of motion. All right, before we move on, we're just going to do some arm swings, turning the palms up as you swing your arms open, opening up the chest, then nice big circles. Here we're going to reach up nice and high, and then we'll do a nice deep fold, keeping the knees soft, reaching the hips back as the fingers go forward. Then bring the hands by the feet, step way back into a low lunge. Get your balance and then raise the arms up toward the ceiling for a big reach. From here, you're going to fold back down, shift that back leg so that it's in line with your front, and then you're going to turn that front foot onto the edge of the foot and rock the hip down toward the floor. So it's a variation of a figure 4 or a pigeon. You're just going to keep rocking down to the floor, really focusing on the hip. Bringing the foot flat, shifting that back leg back out laterally. Reach up nice and high to return to standing position. And then you will fold and you will switch sides, stepping back really far for a deep, low lunge, getting your balance and raising the arms up toward the ceiling. And then you'll bring your hands back down to the floor, shifting that back leg in line with the front, turning that front foot onto the edge, and shifting the hips down toward the floor in a rocking motion. You'll bring that foot flat to the floor, shifting that back leg out a little bit, raising the arms up for that low lunge, coming up to stand, and we'll go through this series one more time. We'll take it down to the floor now on hands and knees. We're going to focus on a pointer and then a T-spine thread. So you'll reach one arm and the opposite leg out nice and long without arching the back. Then you'll bring the knee down and you'll thread the arm through to the opposite side. Bring that hand flat and switch sides. One arm in the opposite leg, knee comes down, and you'll thread your arm. And we'll continue here for about 5 reps per side. Make sure to keep the core nice and strong. You want to push the floor away with the hand and the knee during that pointer. And then you want to bring the shoulder down as close to the floor as you can for that thread, really reaching that arm through to the opposite side. Moving on to some hip work, we're going to extend one leg out laterally. Keep it nice and long as you sit back, reaching back with the tailbone. Then come back to your hands. You're going to turn that foot up toward the ceiling, bring it back down to the floor, lift the leg, circle it around to the back, toes down, come back around, bringing it out laterally, and then sit back. And then you're going to turn that foot again, bring the toes down toward the floor, lift the leg, rotate it back, toes down, and repeat about 3 more times. Before switching sides, we'll just come off the hands and do a quick upper body stretch, reaching the arm across, pulling in through the elbow, then grabbing the hands behind you for a chest opener. And then you'll bring the hands back down to the floor. The other leg will extend out to the side. Keep it nice and long, and you're going to sit back, kicking the tailbone back as much as you can. And then back onto the hands. You're going to rotate that foot up toward the ceiling. Bring it back toward the floor. Lift the leg. Circle it around. Toes down, up, and then back around to the side. And repeat with the sit. And then you'll rotate. And then you'll circle it around. And you'll repeat this about 3 more times. From here, we'll sit back into child's pose, keeping the hands about shoulder width apart. Then take your right hand and place it over your left, tugging on that shoulder a little bit, and then switching sides for a nice deep shoulder stretch. We'll now go into a T-spine opener. So you'll lay on your side in fetal position, take that bottom arm and grab that top knee just to hold it down. Reach out in front nice and long, take a nice deep inhale, and then exhale as you open up, turning your hand to the other side. The key here is that you try to reach your shoulder down toward the floor as much as you can, so you may need to shimmy a little bit through the shoulders. And you want to keep breathing through the rib cage, so making sure to expand the rib cage as you inhale. One final breath here, and then we're going to take that arm and bring it back to where our starting position was, so reaching back toward the knees. And then you're going to lead with that top knee and turn to the other side. Take your time, make sure not to jostle yourself too much. Fetal position, and then you're going to open up that arm, bringing that shoulder down to the floor as much as you can, holding that top knee. Nice deep breaths into the rib cage. And you should feel that shoulder falling a little more comfortably to the floor with every breath. One more deep breath here, and then we're going to bring the arm back to the front. You're going to release the knee, and you're going to turn onto your back. Take your time. Pull both knees in nice and tight. We're going into a hamstring stretch, so I'm going to have you release one leg down to the floor, and then the leg that's bent, you're going to extend up to the ceiling, back to that tight knee hug. Pull the other one in for a tight knee hug, and then switch, making sure to give the knees a nice big hug every time. So you'll extend, bend, bring up the other leg for a hug, and switch. Then extend, bend for the hug, pull the other one in for a double hug, and switch. Make sure to get a nice hip stretch with a hug, and then a nice deep hamstring stretch with that extension. And then take your time, making sure to breathe. Last extension here, and then you'll pull up the other knee, super tight hug, and then small rocking side to side to massage your SI joint a little bit. You did an awesome job. You can relax here, feet come down, and take your time coming up. Nicely done.